Remove the lid from the packing crate. Remove the screws from the end panels. All the screws are the same size. Remove the end panels. Remove the screws from the front panel and then remove the front panel itself. Remove the upper 5/16 bolts. The first wall panel is now free. Carefully pull it forward to remove. Each wall panel is approximately 140 pounds. Remove it as evenly as possible so it stays parallel. The first panel is the outside left side wall. Place it accordingly in the space. Secure or hold the panel to keep it upright. Next, remove the remaining screws from the crate's number 9 side top panels and the top screws of the next lower panels, number 8. The next wall panel, the outside left back wall, contains LED lights. They are connected on both ends to aluminum angle brackets. It is incredibly important that you do not damage the lights, cables, or wiring of any part of these light elements. If they are damaged, the booth will not operate. When you remove this panel, do not place your hands on the LED lights or any cable parts. This crate section has wooden cleats used for shipping that the panel must clear when you remove it. With extreme care, remove the LED panel from the crate. Check that no cords are hanging out the panel and in danger of being pinched. Place panel down to the right of the first panel at a 90-degree angle. There are upper and lower tapered registration pins on the outside left side wall. It's very important that when these two pieces connect together, the pins make proper connection. Using the provided 5/16 T-handle wrench, twist the 3 coffin locks until they make a connection and lock tight. Once locked, the angle walls are secure and can be let go. With the corner connected, square up the two pieces as it will be difficult to move them after future steps. A note before preparing the next panel. When placing the next panel, if it slides straight back, it could easily shear the LED lights and their cabling. It's very important that it's set up with a gap parallel and slowly slid in until they make a connection without damaging the wires. Returning to the crate, remove the number 8 panels and the top 2 bolts for each number 7 panel. The next wall unit, the outside right back wall, also contains LED lights and wiring and must be treated with the same care as the previous wall panel. Carefully slide out the panel and walk it alongside the outside left back wall panel. There are data and power cables in this panel. Take extreme care that they do not get pinched. As stated before, make sure these panels are parallel to ensure no wires are damaged. Making sure the registration pins are hitting their holes, push the two walls together. Using the T-handle wrench, twist and lock the 3 coffin locks. Do not connect any of the wires at this time. Returning to the crate, remove the bottom screws from the number 7 panels. Remove the top screws from the number 6 panels. An important note: the wood roof panels are stored below this wall section. As you remove the next wall panel, use extreme care to lift it straight up and out so as to not damage the delicate roof panels below. Slide this panel, labeled outside right side wall, adjacent to the outside right back wall at a 90-degree angle. Making sure the registration pins are hitting their holes, push the two walls together. Using the T-handle wrench, twist and lock the 3 coffin locks. Next are the 2 roof panels. Grab and lift these panels from their bases, not from the thin slats. Note the roof panel's labeling and place the downside accordingly when staging. Returning to the crate, notice on the flooring piece there are 2 holes on one side and a single hole on the other. The single hole cut into the edging piece is the front of the flooring panel. The 2 holes are the back of the panel. The entire flooring piece can be lifted straight up and out. Walk it to the booth, keeping the side with 2 holes at the back of the orientation. Returning to the crate, there's a bag of hardware included. These are the brackets that will help hold the stair in place. Remove the number 6 end panel's screws. Using a number 2 Phillips, remove the bottom screws of the 2 inside support brackets. Remove the stair unit. Switching back to a 5/16 nut driver, remove the top screws of the number 5 end panels. Set aside the wrapped mid-wall framework pieces stored in this section. Remove the outside left front panel. Note, this panel carries with it the light switch panel. You need to lift the panel high enough for the panel to clear when removing from the crate. With the panel in place, use the T-handle wrench to twist and lock the 3 coffin locks. Remove the number 5 end panels in the top screws of the number 4 end panels. Set aside the protective corner pieces. Remove the outside right front panel. When connecting the outside right front panel, make the inside connections to the outside left front panel first. Once the centers are connected, push the outside right front panel in to connect to the outside right sidewall. With the panel in place, use the T-handle wrench to twist and lock the 3 coffin locks connecting to the right side wall. Using the 5/16 L wrench, twist and lock the coffin locks connecting the centers of the 2 front pieces. Using the T-handle wrench, unlock and open the electrical box. We'll now make the electrical connections. Taped to the back wall are the following cables. A piece of metal strapping we will use as a fish to pull wires. Data cables and power cord. Remove these cables from the wall and remove the tape tying them together. The data cables have 2 different ends, one with a larger connector and one with a smaller black connector. The larger ones are the ones we're going to pull up through the electrical switch box. The other cord we will be pulling through is the power cord. Remove it from the wall and unwrap its tape. Take the piece of metal strapping. Carefully remove its tape. Starting at the electrical box, slide the strapping through the hole. Pass it out of the mouse hole and down through the floor. Feed the strapping until the front reaches the back wall of the box. Pull the strapping through the hole in the back floor. Tape the Cat5 data cables in the power cable to the end of the strapping. Pull the strapping at the electrical box end to fish the cables through. Be careful that the cables do not crimp or get caught on any of the openings. Remove the cables from the strapping. The strapping can now be set aside. Connect the 5-volt DC cable to the electrical box. Connect the data cables to the electrical box. It doesn't matter which cable connects to which port. The door can now be closed and key locked. Returning to the other ends of the data cables, unwind them and make sure they are not kinked. Push the majority of the cable back underneath the floor, leaving about 3 feet remaining. The data cables will now connect to each side of the LEDs. Note, do not pull back on the LED cables as they could break the strips. It's important that they are held flat without prying back on the tape. Connect one data cable to the right side LED strip. It doesn't matter which cable connects to which plug. Carefully tuck the wires beneath the track. Push any excess wire down into the floor hole. Connect the second data cable to the left side LED strip. As before, tuck the cable beneath the track and push any excess wire into the floor. The red power cable is already connected to the transformer box. Tuck any excess cable beneath the track and into the floor. Remove the power cord from the left wall. Run it along the back of the box next to the low voltage wires to help keep it separated from the LED lights. Plug the cable into your floor outlet. Remove the power cord from the right wall and plug it into the floor outlet as well. That concludes the wiring. At the electrical box, check the light switches to verify everything is operating correctly. Using a 5/16 nut driver, remove the 4 screws on each side wall and the 4 screws in the floor. Next, we will attach the roof panels. Verify on the roof panels that the flange that is parallel to each other is facing up on both pieces. The one that has the step on it is the first one in. You'll notice it's labeled left front down with a number 1. The first piece will end up on the left side. but we will feed it onto the box from the right side. We'll bring it up and in and slide the piece into place. The right roof section, labeled number 2, now gets installed the same way. You will need to lift the left side up, drop the right side down, and let the piece fall into place. There are 2 screws on each roof unit with nuts on the back. They can now be removed. Remove the shrink wrap from the aluminum framing. Notice each piece is labeled on each end. Place the pieces on the floor. Note that one of the pieces will come with hex keys attached. Remove those keys as you will use them in a moment. Remove all tape covering the set screws. Find the 2 pieces labeled A and set them together. To connect them, you will first loosen the center connection bracket set screws. Slide the bracket to the halfway point. Tighten the 2 set screws facing the framing. Slide the bracket into the other piece labeled with an A. Tighten the 2 remaining set screws. This piece is the bottom of the frame and it is labeled as such. Next, we connect the 2 half sides to the bottom piece. Locate and place the matching B and H sections. If necessary, back the set screws to allow the parts to connect. Bring the parts together until flush. Tighten the set screws. This bottom piece is ready to install. Walk it over to the box and place inside. Be aware of the LED lights and do not bump or step on them while installing. Using the 5/16 bit, screw the sides of the framing in first. Note that the aluminum is not very thick, so be careful to not over-tighten the screws. Connect the 4 floor screws. Next, we'll build the top frame. Pair the 2 pieces labeled E and top. Connect with the center connection bracket. Pair the pieces labeled D. As before, back out the set screws a bit, connect the L bracket flush, and reset the screws. Repeat with the other top side piece, joining F to F. Walk the top framing into the box. Note that as these go in, the two top flanges will go in behind the parallel track in the roof. Connect the top framing to the bottom framing. Slide the side center connection brackets so they fall between the top and bottom sections. Tighten the set screws. Using the 5/16 bit, screw the sides of the framing to the walls. Run gaff tape across the entire length of the back of each side of the framing from floor to ceiling. This will prevent any light leaks coming from the side gaps. Attach the frame to the roof using the Phillips screws. Remove the 8 Torx screws that will hold the step in place. Walk the step to the box. Remove the wooden shipping angle. Find the 3 small angle brackets. Attach them to the step piece. Pick up the step and walk it into the box. Notice that there is a mouse hole cut out in the step piece that will accommodate the wires in the front left. Drop the step unit into place. Attach the 6 screws that hold the step in place. Be careful to not over-tighten them. Attach the step's right angle brackets to the floor. The following section will cover the programming of the LED light colors. Note that all 5 team buttons will be pre-programmed to your specifications before arrival. To manually program the LED light colors, open the electrical box using the 5/16 T-handle wrench. When you push the black buttons on the door, you will notice that the LCD screen displays the corresponding button number in RGB value. Press button 1. You will see on the screen you have a 5-second countdown timer. You must press the programming button before the countdown ends. push the black programming button during the countdown. The 3 red dials control the RGB values. The top is red, the middle is green, the bottom is blue. Each value runs from 0, none, to 255, maximum. Close and relock the electrical box. This completes the assembly instructions for the LED photo-op box. The remaining bottom 4 panels in the crate make up the Grizzly Bear photo-op box. The radius pieces can be set aside for now. Remove the number 4 side panels and the top screws of the number 3 side panels. The first panel is the outside right sidewall. Lift it up and out of the packing crate. Walk it over to the installation area, stand it up, and support it. Remove the number 3 side panels and the top screws of the number 2 side panels. Lift up and remove the outside right back wall from the crate. Corner it next to the right side wall. Using the T-handle wrench, twist and lock the 3 coffin locks. Remove the number 2 side panels and the top screws of the number 1 side panels. Lift up and remove the outside left back wall from the crate. Connect it to the outside right back wall. Using the T-handle wrench, twist and lock the 3 coffin locks. Remove the number 1 side panels and the top screws of the Do Not Remove base side panels. Lift up and remove the outside left side wall from the crate. Corner it next to the left side wall. Using the T-handle wrench, twist and lock the 3 coffin locks. The final piece in the crate is the Grizzly Bear floor. This piece would now be lifted up and nested in the floor cavity created from the box walls. For purposes of this video, this step is not shown. Note that depending on your need, it's advisable to place hazard tape along the front face of the floor piece. Remove the shrink wrap from the 4 rounded corner brackets. Remove the Phillips screws from the wall units where the corner brackets will be installed. Note the labels on each of the 4 radial corner brackets. Install the brackets in their matching locations in the box using the Phillips screws recently removed. At this point, the fabric would be installed. For purposes of this video, this step is not shown. This completes the assembly instructions for the Grizzly Bear Photo Op box.